study language?
Some parts of it.
You study Hebrew in particular?
Some parts of it. I ain't no professional or nothing like that.
Oh.
That's what you ask.
Alright, so brothers up here, we actually do. Right, we deal with source text documents, right? The scrolls that the Bible is translated from, Masoretic text, the Byzantine text, right? So we're able to actually rectify what's in the Bible that was written aforetime, right? The actual scrolls that we use today. It's a process called textual criticism.
Right.
So a lot of our people have been taught that the Bible has been translated and mistranslated, things have been changed, but when you actually do the research, you can't prove that. You know, so that's a challenge I make to people who have that kind of understanding. Show us where the Bible has been changed at, or apart. You know, so you will have to do your own research on that. You know, but what we use the Bible for is because it's prophetic, right? So let's get through Romans 28 real quick. So the Bible has certain prophecies pertaining to a certain group of people, right? Because it was prophesied that a certain group of people would be in particular conditions in the last days. Now, when you read these prophecies, it'll only resonate with one people that are on the face of the earth today, right? Get Deuteronomy 28, let's get to 48.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 48.
Bring it up.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
The Lord said his chosen people have to serve their enemies,
which the Lord shall send against thee,
right?
in hunger,
And hunger,
and in thirst,
and in thirst,
and in nakedness.
and in nakedness. So what group of people on the face of the earth, right? When they're hungry, when they're thirsty, when they need clothes, they have to go to a people other than their own people to get these things.
Depending on where you're at in the world.
Right here in America. That's where we at.
Right?
So-called black people, right? Read on.
And in want of all things,
Whatever you want in this life, business license, education, right? Whatever you need, read on.
and he
That same enemy that you have to get all those things from,
shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck,
you know what a yoke of iron is?
Like handcuffs.
Like pretty much, but it's like back in slavery days, it was those big shackles, those collars they would put on your neck. Right?
Yeah.
That you would put on the cow, buffalo.
I know what you're talking about.
Right? So it said that same enemy would treat you as cattle. You would put yokes of iron on your neck. Go ahead.
until he have destroyed them.
Until you were destroyed. So what people had yokes of iron on their neck, right? Until they were totally dependent on their slave master. Right? What people resonate with that?
You know, Africans.
You said Africans?
Yeah, the original people.
So if you go to Somalia, that happened to them in Somalia?
Not in the same sense.
Did it happen to them at all?
Yeah.
You have the history on
Everybody's pretty much been has some sort of servitude. Every nationality.
Okay, now
There's
remember.
no nationality that really ain't never been under some type of servitude.
Right, so remember, these curses are going to resonate with one group of people. Because this is just one curse we read. They would have yokes of iron on their necks until they were destroyed. Go to verse 68.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse number 68.
Bring it up.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord's going to bring you into slavery again. Because Egypt means the house of bondage. He's about to show you right now.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse number 12, and it reads, Then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
House of bondage. Another word for bondage is slavery. Right? Hey, sister, listen to this verse. Right? So go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Listen to this verse, sis.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse
Yes,
number
ma'am.
68.
Listen to this verse. How you doing, sister? Right, we out here for our people. Listen to this.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again
The Lord shall bring you into Egypt being slavery. Right? The Lord shall bring you into slavery again
with ships,
with ships. So he's going to bring you into slavery using ships. Go ahead.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee,
Right?
thou shalt see it no more again.
A new Egypt. Right? Spiritually Egypt.
Right.
What's on the back of a dollar bill? The pyramid, right? He's going to bring you into a new Egypt with ships. Go ahead.
And there
When you get off those slave ships,
ye shall be sold unto your
weren't
enemies
we sold unto our enemies when we got off the slave ships? For what?
for bondmen
For slave men, get a flyer. Grab a flyer.
and bondwomen,
And bond women. So we were sold for slave men and slave women. Once we got off those slave ships,
and no man shall buy you.
and no one will redeem us. Give me a flyer. Scan the QR code, says check out the information. Between you. Alright, you're an Israelite according to the Bible.
Right.
Alright, that's what we out here teaching today. Right, we God's chosen people. So
For
we
those
gotta
of us
repent.
who don't understand, for those of us who already understand that,
Alright, so check out the information. Right, brother. So when we talk about these curses and that they're gonna resonate with one group of people, right? Who else went into slavery on slave ships? So now we got two. You will have yokes of iron on your neck. You have to serve your enemy in food, hunger, right, thirst, and one of all things. You will go into slavery on slave ships, right? So when we start adding these things up, it's going to equal out to one people, right? Give verse 54.
Look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 54, and it reads,
Break it up.
so that the man that is tender among you,
Right?
and very delicate,
So we used to be tender and delicate amongst each other. Maybe when you were a young man, right? Let's say back in the 70s, right? Pre-70s, prior 80s, right? Before gang culture really started booming, right? Before hip-hop, right? We know hip-hop wasn't always negative either. But nevertheless, we used to be tender and delicate amongst each other at a period of time. What's going to happen?
his eye shall be evil toward his brother.
Right now, there's the men of these people that the Lord is saying is going to go into slavery on slave ships. They were going to have to serve their enemies. It's going to come a point in time where they're going to have an evil eye toward each other.
Right.
The men of those people, they were going to hate each other. They were going to be killing each other, right, over different blocks, different colors, right, different gang names, right. You step on the brother's shoe, he might shoot you, right. You're going to be sleeping with his wife because you have an evil eye towards your brother. Read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
You're going to have an evil eye towards a woman, right? Don't we live in a period of time where they call it gender wars, right? Man walk into the room, all the women pop a balloon, right? You be seeing that, right?
No, I ain't seen them pop a balloon or nothing like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Yeah, we got an evil eye towards our women, right? And vice versa, read on.
And toward the remnant of his
He's
children,
going to have an evil eye toward the remnant of his children, right? That baby not mine, etc. Read on.
which he shall leave.
He was going to leave those children. Who's known for leaving their children?
Say us.
I mean, so let's add it up.
But that's
right?
just what they say.
Let's add it up. Slavery on slave ships. You got to serve your enemies. And one of all things, food, nakedness, right? Thirst. He was going to put yokes of iron on your neck. These men were going to have an evil eye towards their women. They were going to leave their children. They're going to have an evil eye towards each other. Who is this starting to sound like?
I know exactly what it sounds like. I know exactly who it is.
Do you know who it is?
But what I'm saying is this part right here. I don't see no entity or no essence outside of man. Like for lack of a better way to put it, like here a cop in the sky just waiting on something to happen. You see what I'm saying?
So how could somebody
I don't
write
see
down that their people would go into slavery on slave ships and have yokes of iron on their neck thousands of years before it happened?
That's a good question.
If there's no God. If he didn't send prophets on the earth with his true word, how could they predict these things thousands of years before they happen?
I don't think it happened thousands of years like that. I think at that time, the way that I see it, at that particular time, they were speaking of those times. But as of like right now, you can.
This didn't happen in those times. Because
But what I'm saying is,
get that in
what I'm saying is, you can monitor.
Show word of prophecy.
You can monitor.
Might be first Peter.
You can monitor a group of people, right? And you can get a feel for the tide of how the people are moving, because no matter what the situation is, everybody's not going to be satisfied with it. Some people going to have different opinions and different perceptions on how and what should be done at, depending on how, like they doing
It's
with politics.
different where you say, what you're talking about is Lil Ray don't listen to his mom, he don't listen to his dad, he's in the streets, in 10 years he's gonna be dead or in jail. That's different from saying in 1,000 years, the whole nation of these people that are before me today are going to go into slavery on slave ships. There's a difference between saying, yo, young man, you're on the wrong path, versus saying, yo, as a whole nation of people, you will go into bondage under your enemies and you have to serve them. That's completely different. That's
Not if
completely
you're
different.
watching. Yeah, and I gotta get rid of it.
So you're saying you can
Not if
prophesy?
you're watching a deterioration between that particular race of people, because it was a particular point in time where we didn't look at each other with, how he's saying, like with distrust. Like I ain't walk up to
But we
a
do
black
now.
man. Exactly. But that's something that happens over time. When people start doing things, it makes you look at them a certain way. So you can say that, all right, we might be working towards this cause with, for example, we might be working towards a cause, say we're gonna build a pyramid. But you're gonna have a whole group of people on the whole other side saying, man, I ain't got time to be building no pyramids. You need to get somebody for to do that. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Listen to this, brother.
Work.
Listen
Second
to
Peter.
this.
chapter 1, verse 19.
Bring it out.
We have also a more sure word of prophecy.
The Lord said we have a more sure word of prophecy, meaning we have a better understanding of what was prophesied. Why?
Whereunto ye do well that ye take heed as unto a light that shineth in a dark place.
Yeah, so these are like light sources. When we read this, a light bulb should be coming on. The Lord is literally talking about the so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native man of Negro and indigenous descent
That's
here in
right.
America. It's scattered to the four corners of the earth.
That's right.
Only one group of people fit these things when you read it. Watch this, read verse 32.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 32.
Bring it out.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another
He
people.
said your children are going to be given away unto another people. Go ahead. Hold on, brother. Let me finish this.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Right?
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
That's a prophecy. Weren't our people given to another people? And we couldn't do nothing about it because we didn't have a military, we didn't have a government, we didn't have a police force. Did that happen to the so-called white man? Were they given to another people? What
They
about
got
the
this thing
Asians?
called
What
law.
about the
They
Chinese?
control land,
Listen to me, brother.
air,
Listen to me,
and
brother.
water.
But
So
what
they
you're
making the rules now.
doing is you're denying what we're reading.
No,
You have
I'm
to
not.
understand it's talking
I'm not.
about us. It's not by coincidence. What this means, because you fit these things, because your ancestors fit these things, that makes you God's chosen people.
That's right.
It's no light thing. We're
I
not
don't
just.
dispute that though. I don't dispute that at all. I'm not denying it at all.
So what's the argument about?
I think that my thing is I don't see us as being separate from who or what God is. I see us as being like we'll be more like his sons and daughters. For a better word. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I know it takes two things. It takes a man and a woman to make another baby. You're never gonna find a time in history, you're never gonna find no prophecy outside of saying the prophecy of Jesus, where it was a man that walked on this earth. Well, no, not just Jesus. Enoch did it too. But that walked on this earth that they say never really had a mother. Or never really knew actually a physical death. Like Enoch, they say never knew a physical death. Supposedly, God liked his work so much that he just took him up to forever be with him. That. I don't want to say spiritual because we are spiritual. We are spiritual people. We are. I'm talking about the religious aspect to it. It's through this same book. That happened. The misunderstanding came about that in some kind of way to our people that this was right. Through this book. This is the book they used. They took all other books. You couldn't read nothing else. You couldn't have nothing else.
Yeah,
But they gave you this. They let you read that. There's a reason why for that.
Listen to this, brother.
The book of Luke chapter 4, verse number 22, and it reads,
I gotta go.
And
Hold on.
all bear him witness, and wonder at the gracious works which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, Is not this Joseph's son?
Is what?
Is this not Joseph's son?
So Christ was the son of Joseph.
The Virgin Mary is Jesus' mama. Jesus' mama is the Virgin Mary.
You said
She's a virgin.
she said she got pregnant by a spirit. That's not in the Bible.
It gotta be a spirit.
I just read to you where the scripture says that Joseph is Christ's father. Now I'm gonna bring you out the verse because you said when you have sex out of wedlock.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what particular law or formality you're insinuating, but I'm gonna show you what happens when you have sex according to the Bible. Bring it up.
The book of Exodus chapter 22, verse number 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her.
If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, what does it mean to lie with her? Right?
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
No, she got to get stoned.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
That's the law. He makes her his wife.
Nah, man, that's only part of it.
What?
You couldn't have read the whole book of Deuteronomy. That's only part of it.
We just read the law for you. Then they kept these laws.
That's just a part. I'm talking about on the aspect. That's the part coming from a man.
I hear you guys talking. I'm just curious as to.
That's just from the
I'm
aspect
not in trouble or
of.
anything like that. I'm just just trying to soak up some knowledge myself.
For sure. I think this might be the right spot for you right here. You know what I mean?
I gotta keep
they own
moving,
something.
but I
They
try to
own
bounce
something.
back and forth.
It's just one little twist that I just don't agree with, but they own something.
All
I'm
right,
not
be safe,
denying that
brother.
at all. I'm not denying that at all. The black man is God. You feel what I'm saying? That's how I see it. The black man is God. Ain't nothing else coming to save us. Only thing can save us from what's going on is us as a people, as a whole. But for different reasons, we look at each other and see differences more than commonalities.
Why is that?
It's the way we've been conditioned.
Didn't we just read that we would have an evil eye toward each other?
Yeah, it's the way we've been, but we were, it's
Break it up.
that evil eye that we have towards each other wasn't made by God. That's a man-made evil eye that was made. That was made between two races, one with a hatred for the other. You feel what I'm saying? Like through all my study of actual history of our people. During those times, yeah, we would win a lot of the wars. We would run them from amongst us a lot of times.
Right.
But inside of us, it's like they say, we are a humble natured people at a core. We could never be as evil or as ruthless as those people were.
That's the first thing you said I agree with. Listen to this.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 2. But your iniquities
Your sins.
have separated between you and your God.
So the things that you do, they keep you separate from your God. The reason why we hate each other today, why we killing each other, while we in the ghettos and the slums, while we went into slavery on slave ships, while the white man continues to kill us in the street, is because our God is not backing us because we continue to sin against him on a daily basis. Right? Sin is a transgression of the law. When you read the book of 1 John, the 3rd chapter.
Right.
Our people continue to break the Sabbath day, eat the unclean thing, keep pagan holidays, which is idolatry.
Right.
And the first commandment is you can have no law before the Most High. We're going to continue to be in this condition of hate, right? In this condition of the lowest estate we've ever been at since we were a nation, until we come back and start obeying our God and keeping His laws.
Right.
That's the whole point. That's what it all boils down to. Because get Luke 19 and 17.
I really gotta go though.
I gotta you gotta hear this before you go. You ain't gonna hear
This
this
is the
nowhere
book
else.
of Luke, chapter 19, verse 7,
17.
verse 17. And it reads, And he said unto him, Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities.
19, 17. Bring out what you got.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7,
17.
verse number 1.
Bring it out.
It says, I myself am also a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. And in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man, and the pleasure that came with sleep. And when I was born, I drew in the common air, and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice which I uttered was crying, as all others do. I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth. For all men have one entrance into life, and like going out.
Break it down, man.
So in other words, King Solomon was considered to be one of the wisest men on the earth. But nevertheless, King Solomon expresses right here through the wisdom that the Most High God given him, that everybody that brought forth on this earth came through from having sex, seeds, and then being entered into the egg and being birthed like that. Nobody has been impregnated by no spirit.
Exactly. Nobody just popped up.
Yeah, that's not. We don't teach that.
Yeah.
Christianity
teaches that.
but we don't teach that
You feel what I'm
because
saying?
that's
I'm
not
just
according to
gonna
the
say,
word.
Christianity teaches that.
Yeah, but they also
Christianity don't teach the Bible.
right.
You don't think so?
I know so. We just read a whole list of prophecies you never heard.
Nah, I ain't never said that. I done read that book 1,000 times.
So you know about the prophecies.
I
in
gotta
Deuteronomy
read
28.
something to not agree with it. I gotta know what it is, they don't agree with
So
it.
you knew about the prophecies of Deuteronomy 28 before I read them today?
Prophecies? Yeah, I done read those before.
So what
To say, I'm just saying,
hold on. Tell me another prophecy.
as far as what?
As far as the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter.
I can't, I'm not exact like that.
But that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not-
You
I can't
can't say you know if you done read it.
Exact, but I have.
Because if you're reading with no
I have.
understanding, it's really of no effect. Because if you don't understand that you're the people this Bible is talking about,
I understand that completely. I know that I'm the people that Bible's talking about.
right?
I know that factually.
So let me bring this up.
I mean, just recently, if I ain't mistaken, just recently, Putin just pulled some out that vote that they got in the Ukraine and just told the whole world that, man, we know Jesus was black.
Right.
We got paintings and pictures of Jesus as proof. You feel what I'm saying? But that's on the one hand. But on the other hand, you see the whole war between Israel and like right now, like right now, they blowing each other up behind the same
What they
thing.
got to do with you?
I'm just saying, I think that book is used to bring about more separation than
Read Luke 12 and 51.
togetherness.
Yeah, why would you want to be together with your enemies?
Nah, I ain't never want to be together with my enemies.
Yeah, so what's wrong with division?
I'm talking about us, and what I'm talking about is our people. I'm talking about my people, black people.
What do you mean
original people?
when you say, so you're saying people are using this book we're using this book to separate us?
No, not y'all per se.
So who's doing
Not
it?
y'all. The color man, the white man uses that book to separate us every day.
That's who
So
the
stop.
false
So
doctrine.
that's why we have to separate from them.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to tell
That's
you.
why I say
You can-
beware of false prophets and people who gonna be speaking
Bro,
the
I
word
don't
in the
think you
last days.
understand what we're saying. We're telling you, you need to separate from your enemy, the so-called
Right.
white man.
That's
Forget
right.
everything he
Oh,
ever
I
taught
already
you.
know that.
Forget everything he taught you about yourself. Everything you thought you knew. Most of that stuff comes from.
Hold on, let me just say this. I'm a follower of Clarence 13 now. I already know
Who's that?
You don't know who that is?
No, sir.
The Father. 5% nation of gods and earth.
Okay, we gonna listen to this. What you got?
Luke chapter 16.
What you holding?
Yeah, Luke 12:51.
Bring that out.
Book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse number 51. Suppose ye that I'm come to give peace on earth.
Yeah, Christ said, "You think I'm coming to give peace on earth?" That's a rhetorical question. Read.
I tell you, nay,
He said, "No." Read.
but rather division.
I come to bring division. Go ahead.
For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against son,
Right.
the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against mother, the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
See that? So the Lord
Yeah.
said He's coming to bring division. He's not coming to keep everybody together.
Together. Nah, that was never the plan.
Get Zechariah.
He- I mean, they thought he had came, at that time they thought Christ had came to change the law, but he told them, I ain't come to change these laws. I came to make sure that this prophecy was going to be fulfilled.
That's right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Look
what
at
he
this
said.
prophecy that got to
He
be
didn't come to
fulfilled.
change
Bring
no
that
law.
up.
He didn't come to change the Old Testament to the New Testament.
Bring this up. Bring this
The
up.
laws
The
of the
book
Old
of
Testament
Zechariah,
is very
chapter
much
13,
just as
verse
relevant
number
now
8.
as they
Right.
were.
Zechariah 13:8 says this.
And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die,
2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. So that means 2 parts of the total people. Read.
but the third shall be left therein.
So there's 3 parts. 2 of those 3 parts of people are going to be cut off and die, and 1 part is going to be left. That's a lot of people that have to die. So the Bible is not ever about everybody being saved. The Bible is about Christ separating the sheep from the goats, the people who are really going to follow Him in truth and sincerity. And the prerequisite for that is that you have to be an Israelite.
Right.
But not just in flesh, you have to be an Israelite spiritually, meaning you're keeping the laws through the faith in Yahushua Mashiach, who the world calls Jesus Christ.
Talk about
That's what's going to get you into the kingdom of heaven. Right? That's what it's all about. Bring that out real quick.
This is Luke chapter 16, verse number 17.
Bring it out.
And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail.
Go ahead.
Whosoever putteth away his wife and marrieth another committeth adultery. And whosoever
Hold that.
marrieth her that is put away from her husband committeth adultery.
All right, you can hold that. Right? So Christ teaches that to get into the kingdom of heaven, you have to keep the laws of God.
Right.
Right? So that's what we out here trying to tell you, brother. If you want to enter into the kingdom, you must keep the laws.
I got it. Matthew
Nah.
chapter 19, verse number 16.
Bring it up.
And behold, one came unto him, saying, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?
Right.
And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments.
Do what?
Keep the
So
commandments.
Christ said, if you want to enter into the kingdom of heaven, you got to keep the commandments.
Right.
That's what we teach. So first, you have to understand that you're an Israelite, meaning you're God's chosen people. You have the ability to repent from the sins that you've committed, right, thus far. And after doing so, you do all that you can to keep the laws through the faith in Christ, right? Doing that will, Lord willing, get you entrance into the kingdom of heaven.
The book of Mark, chapter 1, verse number 15.
Bring it up.
And say, the time is fulfilled, and the kingdom of God is at hand. Repent ye and believe in the gospel.